Story 1. My second pregnancy ended with a miscarriage. My neighbor comforted me by saying I was young and pretty and would have more babies soon, and if I wanted help, he would be glad to assist because he wanted daughters, and his wife only gave him sons, and his mistress only gave him 2 girls. He wanted more. I was disgusted. How could you make someone's grief about you and your disrespectful behavior? I was also married, but I guess if you don't respect your own marriage, why would you respect anyone else's? Story 2. This was accompanied by lifting my chin and looking deeply into my eyes. But we know it's what's inside that counts. You're so polite and respectable. Not like the black people I see on the train. You should feel proud. Both from coworkers. Coworkers. Story 3. Looking at your grades, you actually seem quite smart when you do not open your mouth. It was the nicest thing my high school math teacher ever said to me. Story 4. You totally look like you would be that cool single mom. No hatred for single moms, but why would anyone tell that to a girl in her early 20s? Totally hurt me. Story 5. At a table full of people, I have learned to treat everyone with respect. From James, the director, to the janitor, she said, pointing at me. The only thing she knew about me was that I am the janitor. She also didn't clean up her own trash from the table. Story 6. Wow. For a girl from Kentucky, you were smarter than I expected you to be. Now, if you would just lose that silly accent. This was from a manager at one of my previous jobs. Thanks? Story 7. You're so cute. I've always been a shorter guy at 5 feet 4 inches. In high school, I was like 5 feet 2 inches to 5 feet 3 inches. And all I heard from all the girls was, "You're cute." I hated it because I also overheard girls say, or some would say to my face, "He's so fine," but I'd never get with him because he's short. As a short guy, I just can't win. Story 8. People really like you, huh? Said to me with disbelief by a 40-year-old man-child on a first date because I saw a group of my friends when they walked into the restaurant, and they interrupted for a moment to say hello and give me a hug. Story 9. You eat a lot for someone of your stature. When I related this to a friend, she said I should have answered, "You opine a lot for someone of your erudition." Story 10. I once had someone message me on an app saying they had just seen me out on a run and that they thought I looked hot. A few minutes later, my twin brother arrived back home from his run. Story 11. A Japanese person once said to me, "You use chopsticks like a Chinese person. I mean, where I'm from, Chinese cuisine is more common, and you pick up on Chinese table etiquette first." I have no issue with either culture, but they do have their issues with one another. Story 12. The girl I liked told me I had really nice legs. I blushed, then said, "Thank you." She then proceeded to say, "If you were a girl, those are the legs we dream of." Story 13. I was walking to a restaurant with a friend when a random man started telling my friend that she was so beautiful and making whatever gross comments he had in mind. He then looked at me and said, "You're kind of pretty, I guess. Thanks, but also no thanks." Story 14. I'm meeting my old boyfriend's aunt for the first time. She looks me up and down. The first thing out of her mouth, with a confused and disgusted tone, is, "Oh wow, you take really good photos," after only seeing me posted on his Facebook. Story 15. If you sit next to me, I will be crushed against the wall. And people wonder why I am sensitive about my weight. I hear it often. My family also points out my weight a lot, and they are not skinny at all. I know I am not either, but it's not my fault. My medicine did it. Story 16. My friend and I were sitting in a bar in Berlin when 2 guys approached us and asked us to go dancing. We kindly said no and wished them to have fun and enjoy their night. I think we were very nice to them. Then, before leaving, they asked, "Where are you from?" And we said, "From Turkey." Then one of them turned and said, disappointed, "Ah, I thought you were French," and added, "Take it as a compliment." I think this was the worst one for me. Story 17. Yes, bangs would look good on you because, you know, your big forehead. Before that comment, I had never thought about my forehead. Not once. I didn't even know I could be insecure about something like that. But after that, I had some rough years. Took me literal years to be okay with my forehead. Still, I don't wear any ponytails anymore though. Story 18. The worst compliment I have ever received was, "You look good for your age." It felt more like a backhanded remark than a compliment, making me wonder what people expect someone my age to look like. It left me questioning the sincerity behind it. Story 19. You don't look like a mother. I wasn't sure what it actually meant. Whether I didn't look like the type of person anyone would have kids with, or trashy or something. Story 20. You're pretty for someone who doesn't try too hard. It felt like they were implying that I usually don't put in effort or that I'm only attractive in a low-maintenance way. It was one of those backhanded compliments that left me feeling more self-conscious than flattered. Story 21. I work at a hotel and had just checked in this trashy-looking older guy when he asks, "Is it all right if I have a visitor?" I say it's all good, and he says, "Though I doubt his hair will be as pretty as yours," and winked at me. I guess being a guy with long hair is just like that. Story 22. After losing weight, Mom said, "Oh my gosh," acting overly emotional and overly excited, trying to take a bunch of pictures of me. I'm so happy. Now there's my girl. That's the Sherry I recognize. Story 23. You're good-looking, successful, funny. You will have no problem finding someone out there, my crush's mom said, in front of my crush, who was nodding along. Out there. Story 24. My contentious mother-in-law gave me a Weight Watchers cookbook for Christmas one year. I am a hefty girl. The joke's on her because I love to cook, health food or not, and I had been wanting that particular cookbook. Story 25. Both from the same cousin. At a big house party I threw, "Wow, original poster. I didn't realize you had this many friends." While looking at a picture of young me, "Original poster. You were such a cute kid. What happened?" Story 26. You were an ugly duckling and turned into a swan, my uncle said. My mother used to sing, "There once was an ugly duckling," to me to make me feel better. No trauma here, obviously. Story 27. A couple of years ago, I was pumping gas and one pump over was this cute little older black woman, and we grinned and waved. As we were both finishing pumping gas at the same time, she approached me and we chatted for a minute, and then she patted my hand and told me, "Honey, you are not ugly." I still laugh about it when I think about it because I guess it was a compliment. Laughing out loud. Story 28. While in an embrace with a man I had dated a couple of times, he said, "Wow, you have strong back muscles." I was not sure how to interpret that. This was from the same man who wanted to shave my legs, just as he did for his wife. It's important to note that he was a widower. So many issues arose from this situation, and it is one of the reasons why we no longer see each other. Story 29. When I was young, one of my grandma's friends said I was a good-looking boy. Then she used her hand to cover the lower half of my face so she could admire my eyes. It was weird as heck. I've been told by several women that I have nice eyes, but even as a kid, I was insulted that she apparently wanted to enjoy my nice eyes without being distracted by the rest of my face. Story 30. I always argued with my biology teacher. I preferred physics. Don't get me wrong, I love biology, but I couldn't tell her that because she has a difficult personality. It's not her fault, though. She just has a strong presence in class. She once said, in front of the whole class, "If only you were as smart as you are pretty." I replied to her, "If only you embodied one of those qualities." She threw me out. Story 31. After I had lost weight, "You're looking really good." We, family members, were talking about how big you were getting when you had that second helping at Thanksgiving. It's funny how people think old fat me is a different person than current skinny me. It's as if they're talking about someone else, so they think they can say any insulting thing and it won't hurt me. Story 32. A customer at work the other day told me, "You remind me of Tyrus from Fox News because you do your own thing and don't put yourself in a box." And I have never been so offended by someone trying to be nice.